The coffee shop went silent. Every parent at the PTA meeting turned to watch as Karen Morrison pointed her perfectly manicured finger at Marcus Chen and sneered. Maybe if you actually showed up looking presentable instead of in your wrinkled work clothes, your daughter wouldn't be such a disappointment. Marcus's hands trembled as he clutched his coffee cup. His 6-year-old daughter Emma sat beside him, her eyes filling with tears. That's when a calm voice cut through the tension like a blade. Excuse me, did you just speak to Phoenix 9 that way? Let me take you back to how this all started. Marcus Chen was doing his best. After his wife passed away from cancer 2 years ago, he became both mother and father to Emma. He worked double shifts as an nurse, often coming straight from the hospital to pick Emma up from school. Some days, yes, his scrubs were wrinkled. Some days he forgot to comb his hair. But he never, ever forgot to tell Emma he loved her. The PTA meeting that Tuesday evening was about the upcoming school fundraiser. Marcus had volunteered to help set up, even though it meant switching shifts and losing sleep. Emma sat coloring beside him, occasionally looking up with those big brown eyes that reminded him so much of her mother. Karen Morrison was the self-appointed queen of Oakwood Elementary. Designer handbag, perfect highlights, and an opinion about everything. She'd been eyeing Marcus with disapproval since he walked in 15 minutes late, apologizing because there'd been a 3-car pileup at the hospital. As I was saying, Karen announced to the group, we need parents who can commit to excellence. Parents who prioritize their children's education and social standing. Her gaze landed on Marcus, then on Emma's slightly wrinkled school uniform. Some of us understand that appearance matters, that showing up is about more than just being physically present. Marcus felt his face flush. A few other parents shifted uncomfortably. He opened his mouth to respond, but what could he say? She wasn't entirely wrong. He was exhausted. He was overwhelmed. And yes, he probably looked like he'd been through a tornado. Mrs. Morrison, he started quietly, I apologize if my appearance isn't up to standard. I came straight from work because I promised Emma I'd be here. Karen's smile was sharp. Well, perhaps you should reconsider your priorities. Emma deserves better than a father who can't even iron his clothes. Honestly, it's no wonder she's struggling to fit in with the other children. That's when Emma started crying. Quiet, heartbroken sobs that made Marcus's chest feel like it was caving in. And that's when the voice came from the back of the room. Excuse me. Did you just speak to Phoenix 9 that way? Every head turned. Standing in the doorway was a woman in her late 50s, silver hair pulled back in a neat bun, wearing a crisp naval uniform decorated with more medals than most people see in a lifetime. The stars on her shoulder boards caught the fluorescent light. Rear Admiral Patricia Wolfe walked into the room with the kind of presence that makes people instinctively straighten their spines. Karen blinked. I'm sorry, who are you? I'm Admiral Wolfe, retired, and you just insulted one of the finest combat medics the United States Navy has ever seen. The room went completely silent. Marcus's eyes widened. Admiral Wolfe? She smiled at him warmly. Phoenix 9. Been a long time, John. Marcus stood up, almost knocking over his chair. Ma'am, I didn't know you were in town. What are you doing here? My granddaughter just enrolled. 3rd grade. She turned back to Karen, her expression hardening. Now, I couldn't help but overhear your comments about this man's appearance in parenting. So let me educate you about Phoenix 9. The Admiral walked to the center of the room. Everyone was riveted. Lieutenant Marcus Chen served 3 tours in Afghanistan. His call sign was Phoenix 9. Do you know why? Karen shook her head, her confidence evaporating. Because he died. Clinically died. 9 times in the field while saving wounded soldiers under enemy fire. His heart stopped 9 times, and 9 times his team brought him back. Each time, he woke up and went right back to saving lives. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes. 9 times. Marcus felt Emma grip his hand tighter. He'd never told her these stories. He'd wanted to leave that life behind. Admiral Wolfe continued, This man personally saved 43 lives in combat. 43 soldiers who came home to their families because Phoenix 9 ran into gunfire, carrying medical equipment, refusing to leave anyone behind. He has a Bronze Star with Valor, a Purple Heart, and more commendations than I can count. She turned to Marcus, her eyes softer now. After his wife died, he left the Navy to raise his daughter. He works double shifts as an A nurse because he still can't stop saving lives. That's who he is. The Admiral looked back at Karen. So when you see wrinkled scrubs, understand those wrinkles came from saving someone's life at 3 a.m. before rushing to be here for his daughter. When you see exhaustion in his eyes, know that it's because he's carrying the weight of being 2 parents. And when you judge his appearance, remember that some people measure their worth not by how they look, but by how many lives they've touched. Karen's face had gone from red to white. I didn't know. No, you didn't. And that's the problem. You didn't ask. You didn't pause to consider that everyone is fighting battles you can't see. Admiral Wolf knelt down to Emma's level. Your daddy is a hero, sweetheart. Don't you ever let anyone tell you different. Emma wiped her tears and threw her arms around her father. Marcus held her tight, his own eyes wet now. One by one, other parents started standing up. A single dad in the corner spoke up, I'm a firefighter. I come here in my uniform sometimes because it's all I have time for. A mom raised her hand. I'm a teacher. I grade papers at these meetings because it's the only time I have. Another parent nodded. I'm a truck driver. Sometimes I smell like diesel. But I'm here. The room transformed. Suddenly, it wasn't about judgment anymore. It was about recognition. About seeing each other. Karen Morrison sat down quietly, tears running down her own cheeks. After the meeting, Karen approached Marcus. I owe you an apology. A real one. What I said was cruel and ignorant. I'm sorry. Marcus nodded. We all have our struggles. I appreciate you saying that. Admiral Wolf put her hand on Marcus's shoulder. Phoenix 9, you survived war. You'll survive parenthood too. And that little girl? She's lucky to have you. As they walked to the car, Emma looked up at her dad. Daddy, are you really a hero? Marcus smiled, buckling her into her car seat. No, sweetheart. I'm just your dad. And that's the best thing I could ever be. Here's the truth that this story teaches us. We're all fighting invisible battles. The tired parent in wrinkled clothes might be a war hero. The quiet person in the corner might be holding their whole world together with sheer willpower. The person you're about to judge might be the strongest person you've ever met. Before you criticize someone's appearance, their choices, or their struggles, remember this. You don't know their story. You don't know what they've survived. You don't know how many times they've risen from the ashes. Kindness costs nothing. Judgment costs everything. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs a reminder that we're all doing our best. Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more inspiring tales that remind us of our shared humanity. Drop a comment below telling us about a time someone showed you unexpected kindness. We read every single one. Remember, you never know when you're standing in front of a phoenix.